Okay, so it's
we're
working. It's up
on.
and running, bro.
What episode are we on now? Because I'm lost all the time, man.
Episode. I think this will be episode 6. Because I'm an absolute waste of space sometimes, and during the pandemic, I kind of went completely inside myself, and did too much extracurricular stuff, stayed up too late, overthought stuff, argued with people, ignored your messages.
Well, just be honest. Just say how it is. I was messaging Johnny all the time, saying, Johnny, look, we need to get on the pod. We should get some guests on. We should make this happen, make that happen. And I was just getting no responses. I was getting in. I'm sitting there going, wow, Johnny's just... I thought we were tight, man. I thought me and Johnny were friends, you know? And now what's going on, man? What's going on?
No, that's exactly what I just said. What was going on? You made me going to go into it. We've had this conversation. I think the whole lockdown thing kind of took everybody by surprise. Not me, which is what I was just explaining to Eugene in the car on the way here. But for Joe Blogs, I think this is kind of like it's unprecedented times, and everybody's had to react to it in a different way. And something I just said to Eugene outside was it's helped a lot of people out in a good way, spiritually, getting themselves together and what have you. But it's also had the counter effect and the negative effect on a lot of people. People that essentially lost their jobs, furloughed and going crazy, like I was a little bit, not knowing where the next check's coming from, etc., etc. So in the middle of that, everybody's been affected differently. So
no, I agree. Well, when you said Joe Blogs, I'd probably put myself in that bracket because I was very much just watching the news, eagerly going, what's going to happen? And I think the last pod we did, the one in the studio, it was very much around the lines of, we're going to be going into lockdown soon. You know, remember that conversation?
Yeah,
it could be next week. And I was still of the mindset, like, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. However, there isn't a virus and it's killing people and we might go into lockdown. Now, some weeks later, I'm now sitting here kind of going, I don't really know, because it does seem a bit strange, and I'm going to go straight into it. But so we were told to quarantine and go into lockdown because there's this virus that's killing loads of people, and that we need to stay inside. What was the lines that the lovely
stay
Boris
home, stay safe.
Stay home, protect the
NHS.
Yeah. So that mantra was put out and banned. And I listened to it. I took it on full board. But then now we've had protests. We've had people at the beaches. And I don't see the spike in numbers as they were proclaiming it would be. So it's now got me sitting here going, I don't really understand that. It sounds a bit questionable. And then you've got the whole thing of Boris Johnson on the news, I think it was on Monday, saying, shop, I'm out, guys, now buy stuff. And I'm sitting there going, okay, so we still have a pandemic. We still have people dying in their numbers, in the hundreds. But you're now telling me I need to go out and spend my money and buy stuff that I probably could have bought while I've been on lockdown for the past 10 weeks. Because there's online shopping and all the other stuff, which people did, smart people did.
Yeah.
Queuing outside of a Primark at 7 a.m. in the morning to buy, what are you buying? T-shirts, pants, and some socks.
Plimsolls.
Come on. To go where? To church?
Send the kids back to school, which is another element of it all. That it's okay for the kids to go back to school, but not every year. So at the beginning of the whole thing, it was kind of like, okay, Boris wants to go with the herd... what was it?
Herd immunity, wasn't it?
Yeah, herd immunity.
Just let people die.
Not necessarily let people die, but he clearly had an idea. He wanted to go ahead with herd immunity. He was getting knocked back from his advisors. He was getting knocked back from the public. He was getting knocked back purely from the information that we were able to access and looking at different countries and the way that they were handling the pandemic and the outbreak and what have you. So that's clearly what he wanted to do. And then he changed his mind. So I just don't understand how now we're saying certain age groups can
go back to school.
Yeah,
of course, man.
But others can't. Yeah, and then certain people can go back to work, but then other people can't. Yeah. And it's all counteractive. It's counterintuitive.
Well, it's mixed messages.
It's contradictive.
Yeah, it's mixed messages.
And you've got people all over the place. And I pay an awful lot of attention to social media.
This is where you're going wrong, brother.
No.
Time on that media, man.
I pay a lot of attention to social media.
Your mind up, bro.
I don't partake in a lot of stuff on social media. I like to see what people are saying on social media to get an understanding of what quote unquote stupid people think is really happening, and so I understand what their vision is and what they believe is happening. So I can kind of read between the lines and think, okay, social media is kind of a place where a small percentage of people go on, their voices are unheard, they shout loud, they're obnoxious, racist, which I'm sure we'll get onto.
Well, it's a mixed bunch.
It's a mixed bunch.
Me, yeah, no, it is a mixed bunch, because for me, there was a period, which we're going to touch upon that, but there's a period where I was living on social media. So gathering my thoughts from the information that I was seeing on a day-to-day basis in regards to the COVID-19, and it just was then putting me in a bit of a state, kind of going, is this really safe? You know, going supermarkets and stuff like that, and then the supermarket changing from you being a queue in Asda, where the queue's going around the block and everyone's 2 meters, to then a week later, I'm now standing side by side with somebody, and you're kind of going, what's changed in the space of a week? There's no cure. There's no cure has been changed. There's nothing other than people in the office or the House of Parliament have now told me that it's okay to now go shopping a bit more. And I'm kind of going, that doesn't make sense. You know, it just doesn't, for me, it doesn't add up. It just is not clear. It's not a message that I can understand, which leaves me with more questions than answers of what is actually going on. That's the question that always comes to mind. I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but I'd class myself as a logical person that can sit down and listen to what there's being told, and it just doesn't sound clear. You know, it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound like a very strong message that I should be following.
Where does the term conspiracy theorist come from?
Educate me, brother. Educate me.
I think it was coined by the CIA after the assassination of JFK, because a lot of people were coming up with ideas and theories. Essentially what it is about, this smells fishy.
Yeah.
God knows what would have happened if they had the internet back then.
Oh, there would be massive problems, man.
Yeah, but so there's a lot of people doing a lot of research, and then the CIA said, okay, do you know what? Conspiracy theorists. So anytime that anything ever gets mentioned or said that we don't like, the establishment don't like the sound of, we can just label it as a conspiracy.
Yeah, of course.
Therefore, a large percentage of the population will instantly switch off from it and be like, okay, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, I think that's fair.
The reason I'm saying that is because you just said you're not a conspiracy theorist, but in your heart, what do you think is happening? How do you feel? It's not conspiracy. You live in this world. It's your world.
Of course. As I said, I'm not someone that believes in conspiracy, because you can go down that rabbit hole. You can jump on the net and it will take you down so many roads to the point where you then sit down going, shit. However, for me, I try and take, and this sounds quite naive, right? But I try and take the information that's put on or put out as something that I can then digest and say, okay, there must be some truth behind this. Obviously, that sounds stupid now. We are 11 weeks later, and a lot of the stuff doesn't really make much sense. But that's kind of been my mantra going forward is, yes, I see stuff online, I hear stuff, but there is a message that being put forward. I'm going to try and take it on and see if I can use that to then live some of my life. Not my whole life, because obviously some of the stuff doesn't really apply to me, but use some of it as that is the truth. Mm-hmm. Which sounds very naive. I understand that. I hold my hand up. I am not that naive, but it's just I don't want to live in that world where everything is not necessarily a conspiracy, but everything is the blue pill, the red pill. My dad's like that. My dad's very much of, you tell my dad something and he's always red or blue pill type stuff. You know what I mean by
yeah, Matrix.
He's very much of, oh, so okay, that means this, and he goes down roads to the point where you have to say, Dad, you need to chill. Like, it's a parking warden, you got a ticket. It doesn't mean anything other than you parked on the yellow line. That's it. So for me, it's trying to get an understanding of what's going on. And I don't want to fill my head with too many questions. It's hard enough living sometimes, let alone to have questions about shit that I can't control.
So you've conformed?
I've not conformed to anything. I've just allowed some of the stuff to take a back seat, opposed to letting it control and change my thoughts going forward. I just let it take a back seat. Because if not, we had a conversation. The conversation we had, I think I messaged you after the Windrush program I watched. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that night I was drinking.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So this makes sense now.
So yeah,
I was like, what? You reading the stuff that I read? Yeah, and then I was thinking, what are you sending me here? That's what I should be sending you.
No, I had a bit of a night. So what happened is my dad, sent me shitloads of stuff on the George Floyd stuff and a few other things, and I watched those, and I was like, okay, heavy. And then I started watching Sitting in Limbo, which is the Windrush TV show. Really good show. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. I highly recommend it. It's on, I think it's on BBC iPlayer. Awesome watch. However, I started watching that, and man, I got sadder and sadder watching it, because for me, my grandparents came here when in the 60s. My grandmother came here when she was 19. My mother and my father were born here. I'm born here. So for me, that tale kind of it could be my tale, you know? It could be me looking at my grandfather going, they're going to put you in a holding cell, and then they're going to try and threaten you to send you back.
Mm-hmm.
And it just threw me. And from that, I had maybe a sip. I had a sip of, what did I have?
Ray and Nephew?
No.
Come on.
It was some rum. It was some sort of rum. There was some spiced rum.
Okay.
So I had a sip of that, and I haven't drank in God knows. It's my birthday.
It's just like Gremlins, yeah?
Yeah, I think it was on the 9th of June. So my birthday is the 10th, and I had a sip. And seriously, that one sip was just like, you know, when alcoholics just had the first drink that he hasn't had for ages. It was just like, dun, dun, dun. Before I know it, half the bottle was done. Then I started speaking to you on the WhatsApp. And then the stuff that I saw from my dad, I was just like, I've seen this. It's in my head now. I'm now looking at more stuff. And then I start speaking to you. And then you're throwing stuff back at me. And I'm watching this stuff. And I'm kind of going, dun, 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 dun. And it's just building in my head. And I'm like, I'm going down a road. And the road that it took me, I went to bed at like 8 in the morning or something. Finished 2 bottles that side. Woke up and I was just like, bloody hell, what happened? You know, what happened? And that was just on the bare facts of just kind of letting yourself take on the information, and then having even more questions. The videos with the George Floyd stuff, the stuff I sent to you.
Yeah, I think
I watched that, and that really threw me, because when I originally watched the stuff, I had questions. And it was just a few questions. It wasn't a lot, but it was a few questions in terms of the camera angles, in terms of the roadside angle that they showed that he was on the ground. There was I think it's 4 police officers around him, or two on camera, and then there was the Oriental guy standing there, and you've got the people filming. Then they showed you another angle, same scene. There's no one standing on the side of the road, and I'm kind of going, how can that be the same shot, but there's no one there?
I think
and it threw me. I was just kind of going, I've got questions here, you know.
Shelve that, bookmark that, because I don't want to get lost from the pandemic that we were initially talking about. Because I think that these are all linked. I think these are linked, and I think they're planned events.
Getting some of the sweets in, just letting everyone know.
Some of the sweets
There's jelly babies, and I'm like a jelly baby fiend.
But with regards to the pandemic and going back to that and everything that's happened here, I think, like I was saying, it's people's mental states and the way they've had to really look after themselves with 2 months off. Because I think the first week was amazing, because it's a week off work.
Yeah, that was good.
Right? 2 weeks. I can't believe I've got 2 weeks off work. 3 weeks. This is good. You know what I mean? Enjoying life.
Yeah.
4 weeks. Dancing, singing, big beard, afro growing out in different places on my head. No, a little bit coming out here, a little bit coming out there. Yeah. I'm looking in the mirror thinking, could I grow my hair back? Asking my missus, can I grow my hair back? What do you think? Asking the kids, like everything. I was trying different things out. Everything, like life was easy. And then when it was like a couple of days before I was going back to work, I was thinking, I got depressed.
Okay.
And because I was just enjoying my freedom. And then I got the phone call to say, oh, your furlough's been extended for 4 weeks.
Okay, nice.
So again, we're back to dancing in the kitchen again.
Yeah.
But that 3-day period where I was thinking I've got to go back to work, I'm no longer free. That's where I really start to deep things and think, actually, do you know what? And that's when I started to come off the rails a little bit, because I was thinking, but I am free. But then I was thinking, but there's borders everywhere. We can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Ever since the whole be scared of the Arab man because they're terrorists since 9/11, I feel like the world's getting smaller and smaller, and they're trying to enclose us. They don't want us to go anywhere. So when the pandemic hit, I was thinking, we're on lockdown. I love it when people say two. But anyway, so we were on lockdown. Yeah. B, they're saying to you, we don't want you communicating with people, so you can't go and interact with people socially, right? You have to stay completely in your house. You're not allowed to go anywhere unless it's essential travel. All right? Okay? So if you're going to get caught out, you'll be fined, blah, blah, blah. I've not seen anybody implementing any fines, right, for a start. I know I'm aware that people have been fined.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there were no strict rules and regulations. All I thought was, right, my company said to me, we're going to have some meetings on Zoom.
Yeah.
And Google Hangouts and everything else. And then I'm thinking, well, I'm aware of what Zoom is and I know what Google Hangouts is, but how come all of a sudden this is an amazing new thing that we can use and people don't have to go
into the office or
to all these places that are far afield and pay for fuel and lunch and everything else? And I'm thinking we could have been doing this already, but now everybody's pretending that it's a new thing. And then the term the new normal got coined.
Yeah,
I was thinking, what do you mean? What's the new normal? Like, why are you trying to say that I can't go and see my friends? Is it because you don't want me speaking to my friends about things? And you don't want that level of interaction there. You want to keep us separate. So everything, and then this is where the conspiracy side comes from it, is that you want to hear every conversation I have. Yep. Therefore, I'm only going to be communicating with my friends and family via the phone.
It's all tracked.
Yeah, or on the computer.
Yeah,
so I can't plot against you. Yeah. So where we've gone from being scared of the terrorist, we're scared of immigrants, and now we're scared of a virus, and now we're scared of each other. Because essentially, like, one of the things that has been very poignant about the pandemic is that someone said to me the other day, with the whole race thing that's obviously reared its head, and we're going to start talking about that, is that I said, you know what? Sometimes when I go shopping to Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Asda's, wherever you go shopping, Morrison's, Lidl, Aldi. Let's just name them all out. Let's just label them out. Do you know what I mean?
I don't want any discount.
Looking for sponsorship out here, man.
I'm okay. I shop at
Brewdog. I shop at Brewdog.
Asda, and that's enough for me. I'm not helping any of these places. Sainsbury's, Tesco's is not for me.
You get me?
But go on. You can continue, sir.
It's
other than the shout outs.
No, it's just what I was saying. So you shop at all of these places, right? Tell me what I'm thinking, because I've just completely lost myself here.
I don't know. I was waiting for you to take me down the rabbit hole again. I was going to go.
No, I am taking you down the rabbit hole, right? So yeah, they're keeping us separated. Forgive me if you want to hear. I will tell you what I was going to say in about 10 minutes when I remember.
I think the audience are worried. They're thinking you're crazy now.
No, I am crazy, but it's
crazy
been built up in me for 2 months, and I'm now here, and I'm driving here, and I know what I want to say. And I'm thinking, can I say that? Can I say this? So I'm trying not to implicate some people in...
I don't think you can. We had this conversation 5 minutes before. I said, there's certain things you can't say. And then you said, Mike, I'm going to say what I want to say. I don't care anymore. And I said, dude, you can't say those things, man. We're going to get problems and they'll shut us down, you know? So I'm just saying, take it easy.
No, I'm taking
We've got
it
jelly
easy.
babies. We've got sugar and stuff.
That must have been what it is. Right, so we're scared of everybody, okay? So now we're scared of ourselves. So I said to my friend, if you're in any of these supermarkets...
Milking these, I am.
Right? And... as a black man, I'm walking down an aisle, busy supermarket, but on an aisle, there only might be 2 people on the aisle, okay? So if I'm walking down the aisle, there might be a lady that's walking towards me.
Yeah.
And I am fully aware within myself that she feels awkward, okay? It's evident, it's obvious. So then I have to hold my body in a different way.
Do you think you're looking for that, though?
No, I'm not looking for it. I've just noticed it. I've just noticed it.
Because for me...
That's what I'm saying.
I never really noticed that. Maybe because I've got headphones on and I'm in the zone. And
this is me giving an example to somebody, right? So with what I feel like, I noticed it. I wasn't looking for it. On this occasion, I've noticed it, okay? I'm not looking for it. I'm like, oh, shit, that was blatant.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the pandemic has got everybody looking at everybody like that.
Of course, yeah.
So white people... are looking at white people, Asian people are looking at Asian people, and when we come close to each other, is he going to give me COVID-19, the coronavirus? Yeah. I don't know. So I was kind of like, to me, that's a little snippet of what racism feels like.
No,
ever so slightly, it's just the looks and the way that people act with you. But then again, they don't want people to interact with each other, so they're kind of pushing us further and further away. We're sitting at dinner tables. The age-old conversation that we're having now in the age of technology is that kids are sitting at dinner tables with their iPads and phones.
Yeah, separate.
It wouldn't happen in my house, but it happens in a lot of people's houses.
Well, when I was growing up, my dad would shut that shit down. You would never have that. That's so why I got kicked out at 16. But
we're disconnected from the family.
Yeah.
Okay. even though we are in the family. So we're within our four walls, but we're still disconnected.
But it's a divide and conquer, isn't it? It's you divide the masses, and we'll probably get on that with the whole racism stuff, because I had a lot of thinking to do around that. So originally I was peeved off, I was annoyed, and then it changed to this is done for a reason. It's done for a reason to have this divide, you know, because there shouldn't be a divide. It's 2020 and we're still having issues about you black this or you black that. And I'm kind of going, we've lived with each other for how many years? There's no difference between us if we bleed the same. So why are we still having these issues? And why these issues now have now arisen to a point where it's like a race riot? There's the stuff I saw on the weekend where you had the hooligans come down, because they were hooligans, they were racist, they were doing monkey chants and coming down for a fight after a few drinks. That didn't need to happen.
Well, Euro 2020 was supposed to start on Saturday, right?
Potentially, I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not bracketing people in, I'm not stereotyping or anything, okay? But the vast majority of the people that were in London on Saturday would not have been there if the Euros were on.
Of course not.
Right? And secondly, all of those people have been locked up. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
They've been locked up for near 3 months. Yeah, being told they can't go anywhere, but watching the news and seeing that there's certain people going places.
Yeah, protesting
Right?
and all the
So
stuff that's going on.
They're crazy. They want to come out. They want to see their friends. There's any excuse.
Yeah.
What's the excuse? Let's go and protect some statues.
But it was awesome, though, because I've been, after watching it, awesome in terms of awesome the issue that they're kind of fighting for, but more of, I listen to LBC at the moment, which is probably not the best radio station to, but I listen to it morning to night like an avid person. I turn it on and I'm just going,
It's an honest
what are they
station.
saying? And then I end up reading the comments on Facebook, and that's when you read some of the comments and you're kind of going, wow, people have views like this, you know, to the point where you're kind of going, racism is real. Racism is it's realer than it's ever been from some of these people's views. And then you then hear some of the callers. So they call in and they say, oh, yeah, I'm going to protect the statues. Then you have the presenter on the show say, well, the statue's been protected, you know, it's been guarded up. The Black Lives Matter movement is not actually going to happen on that day. The police are going to be there. There's not going to be any damage to any statues. Oh, no, we're still got to go to protect. Okay, you're going to go protect. Okay, so whose fault is this? Oh, well, yeah, it's the black people. Okay, but the black people on the images that I'm showing you, and you probably have seen, it's white guys that are bringing down the statues. So what guys are you talking about? Oh, well, yeah, it's the middle class white guys, but then it's the black people who are causing this. Black Lives Matter. It should be all about all lives matter. And I'm sitting there going,
wait, no. While you said that,
Shoot.
right? So one thing that I don't get, okay,
it makes no sense.
all lives matter. I agree.
Of course, all lives matter.
So what's the problem?
But all lives matter.
No, so what's the problem?
The problem is, well, for me, the main issue, because don't get me wrong, I've not been protesting, I've not been in the street, I've not done any of that. I've stayed low, I lift weights, I do my stuff. But for me, all lives matter. Yes, they've always mattered.
Yeah.
It's never been a time when we've gone, oh my God, all lives don't matter. We've always said all lives matter. The only issue we have at present is that we have seen, well, we've probably seen for multiple years, that a number of black people are dying. And a lot of black people are unfortunate to make to the 21st or the 30th birthday. So the protest has been around trying to just acknowledge and put on a platform so that everyone can see this and say, okay, Black Lives Matter. It's not taking away from All Lives Matter.
Not, but that's
All Lives Matter is already there. It's encompasses. I have nothing against a white guy, an Indian guy. Your life matters. My life matters. The only difference I'm saying to you and a lot of the people who are protesting, the good ones, is very much that we need to look on some of the black guys and black women that are being killed. You know, we need to pay a bit of time to see if we can change the narrative.
The reason I say it is because I want to have that conversation with somebody that says all lives matter and gets angry.
Okay.
Because if someone says Black Lives Matter and then someone says all lives matter, I agree with you. So the conversation's done. So why are you angry and I'm not angry?
Because
why
you're bringing it up.
Why are you so angry?
Why are you bringing it up?
If all lives matter, that means that Black Lives Matter because they're encompassed and they're incorporated into
no, but it's all lives matter. Why are you talking about black people's lives?
Okay, the reason I'm talking about black people's lives...
I don't want to know about black people's lives. I want to know about all lives matter.
All right, mate. Well, I'll tell you what then. Mate. Because...
I'm just telling you, that's what I've heard from people. So
I'm going to say something, right? So, comedians are comedians, okay?
Yeah.
So they kind of get a free pass.
Mm-hmm.
So, everything that's happening... The reason I keep saying is everything is connected is because this whole thing that I'm seeing is an awful lot of it's about censorship. Okay, so
Well, of course, it's not an awful lot. It's
What is
shitloads
a-
about
yeah,
it.
what
They're
is a-
shutting down old programs.
Yeah.
They're kind of changing the narrative on certain stories.
so my point being,
Why? Though?
if they're taking Bo Selector off
Yeah.
the television, right? I didn't complain about it. Yeah. If they're taking 40 Towers off, if they're taking Gone with the Wind off, which I actually watched maybe about 3 months ago.
No, I haven't watched it in
It's
ages.
like, I don't know, it's like 6 hours or something, the
Grew up
film.
on that.
Um,
Clark Gable.
Clark Gable,
Slaps
okay,
in the face.
right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Someone go and do your research, okay? But Clark Gable's the leading man in that film, no?
I mean, he is.
I
Yeah.
lie, right?
Mm.
He's mixed race.
Is he?
I swear his mum or his dad
You sure he
is.
doesn't have loads of talent?
Nah, believe me.
Sure.
You can look into it. One of the leading Hollywood actors back in the day, okay?
Okay.
So what I'm saying about is censorship is the fact that they're impersonations. They're television programs impersonating. Now, I'm not saying blackface is cool. I don't agree with blackface
Terrible.
at all. There's a, you know what I mean? But there's a way that you do it. No one had a problem with these programs at the time, but we've retrospectively, we now have a problem. So if I now on this podcast pretend to be said hooligan in London,
Yeah.
I've come down here to protect the statues, right, from these blacks, yeah. Boris said, I don't even know what Boris said. They've got no facts. They can't back it up. So am I
Of course they
allowed?
don't
Am I
have no
allowed to
facts.
do that impression anymore? Because listen. The reason I say that is because I'm impersonating an uneducated,
Yeah.
lower middle class white man. Yeah, if you want to put it like that, to be blunt. But if he turns around and does an impression of me and is like, "Oh yeah, wagwan, bruv, re-te-te," and yeah,
Yeah.
he can be deemed to be racist, right? So why is it any different than what I'm taking the piss out of him
Yeah.
and the way that he speaks? Yeah. So this is what I'm saying about censorship. You can have banter with people about that sort of
Well,
stuff.
you used
about
to
the
be
way
able to have
you
banter
used
with
to be able
people.
to. So this is why I'm saying that the movement, we need to be a little bit skeptical.
Of course, you got to be not a
Okay.
little bit. For me, all of a sudden, so we had the Black Lives Matter movement, and then it changed to we're going to bring down these statues, and a lot of the statues. Maybe this is me being naive again, but I've never heard of those statues. You know, some of the statues in Bristol, a bit further up north, I've never heard of them. You know, so for me, it's not like I'm saying they don't matter because there's obviously the stuff that these guys have done is atrocious, but I would not be journeying from my house in London to Bristol to now bring down a statue. I wouldn't.
Would you rather, okay, when you have your kids, would you rather walk through London and look at a statue and educate your child about the atrocities that were carried out by the colonialist empire that was Great Britain, yeah, all those years ago, and look at where we are now and how everybody gets on, and how we're allowed to live here, okay, and everything's rosy, but just be aware that people can be evil, and this is one of the evil things that they did. Right, so that's a conversation piece to have because
You've got the statue
because
there.
the statue's there.
But they should. But the problem I have with that, sorry to interject, but the problem I have is they're not teaching that stuff in the schools. So people are coming out of the schools with this.
No. But there's petitions. There's how many petitions have you seen going around now?
Don't do nothing. Man.
Okay, right. One petitions. There should be more. Black history should be taught more in school. Okay, so sign this petition to get the curriculum changed to blah blah blah. Okay, now when the UK government decide to implement that, okay, because I'm fully aware that you've got some Pan-African schools that obviously teach that, and it's extracurricular, and you have to send your children here to get a particular education, all right, but not everybody's privileged enough to get that. So come when the UK government say, okay, we're going to implement a Black history class, okay, you know what it's going to be? It's going to be all about slavery.
But it's always been about that.
No. Listen, slavery happened, right?
Yeah.
I want to know about my ancestors, the kings and queens.
Yeah, of
Okay,
course,
talk
in
to me about
Africa,
Mansa Musa. Yeah,
Yeah.
richest guy. Yeah, in the history of the world. I want to hear stories about that. I want to see films about that. Yeah, that's what I want to know. Why are you trying to suppress the fact that melanated people that colonized
Have
pretty
been
much
successful. They have
90% of the world, okay, and Caucasian people, and again, it's not to label everybody in the same bracket because I have a stupendous amount of white friends that are absolutely fine. I'm absolutely fine with. But what I'm seeing is that when I say even with the pandemic,
Yeah.
that it was to cause a division, yeah, and separation of people, we are now into this backwards and forwards between race rows and riots and what have you, and it's causing division amongst people that have been friends for years and years and years.
One of my buddies, one of my good buddies, he was on Facebook, and he's done what I've done, where you go through a bit of a dark period and you start looking at stuff, and then you start posting stuff on Facebook. So he started posting some stuff, just stuff, to educate his friends. All of a sudden, messages, oh, you're taking it a bit too far here. Why are you posting this stuff? You're racist. We used to be good friends. And I'm sitting there going, I had to leave comments in his friend's chat to say, dude, these are not your friends. But then I had to sit back and say, these are your friends. It's just that they're confused and not understanding that all you're doing now is just shining a light on some stuff that should have been a light on ages ago, Because for you to now say, I'm racist, bear in mind, I've known you 15 years. Yeah, we've hanged out, we played football, we've dated chicks, whatever. And now I'm racist because I'm posting stuff about the importance of saving black people's lives and stuff that's happening. People are just confused. I think it's down to confusion. I understand that I have this feeling that we're being misdirected, similar to what you're saying. And we're being taken down a road that is going to create even more division. Because there shouldn't be any division. I've come from urban London. I've grown up in schools where my friends are from all nationalities, yeah? To now be in a state where I'm sitting with somebody in there. I went to the supermarket the other day, and when someone gives you the look like they want to talk to you. So a lady in her 70 to 75, small lady, smelled of cigarettes, and she turned around and looked at me, and I was like, okay, look to me, I'm waiting for it now. This is just after the weekend. So I'm like, okay, I'm sure now I'm the rep for all Black Lives Matter, so I'm getting ready for it. Then she goes, are you in the army? And I was like, no, I'm an Army Reserve, part-time Army Reserve. What's up? She goes, oh, wow, that's good to hear. You're a good one. And I was like, okay, cool, no sweat. Let's see how this goes. And I didn't want to then challenge her or anything. I just wanted to listen. So then she was like, oh, my daughter, she's been working with the Army in Barbados. And I was like, okay, cool. And she goes, oh, yeah, it's really lovely over there. Those people over there are really nice. So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe you're just older and you're near my grandmother's generation. I can give it a buy. Then she goes, oh, so what's going on with this this protest stuff? What are people protesting about? You should know. What are they protesting about? So I'm like, do I need to now educate this lady on... So I started.
Yeah.
And then she then interjected and she said, oh, well, I was in the shop the other day and this black lad, so he walked past me and he gave me a dirty look and then walked off. What's up with people? What's up with you people? And I was just like, wow.
What was it? Were you related to the guy?
No, it's just some random black guy.
I thought you might have been related to him.
Just some random dude. So
Okay,
I was just
right,
like, so I was like, I'm kind of shocked.
I'll tell you something,
Shoot.
okay, right? So for the guy, like anyone that's listening, watching it back, whatever, someone said to me the other day, oh, do you know so-and-so? No. Oh, I thought you did.
Nice.
I'm
Why?
like, yeah, why? Oh, because you live in the same area. Right, okay. And you're black? Oh, okay, right, no, sorry. Yeah, let me check my Rolodex because I've got every single black person's name in the world in it, and I'll just look it up and I'll tell you. You know what I mean? It's the ignorance. So one thing that's come out the back of it is, yes, a lot of bigots and racists are popping their head up over the parapet, but as much as they're exposing themselves, there are an awful lot of people that are on the flip side of that are saying, look, come on.
It's not cool.
I think in my life as a white guy or whatever it is, predominantly we talk about white versus black, okay?
But it's not though.
But it's all encompassing.
No, because I've got an example. I'm going to interject. Sorry to jump in.
No, go on.
But so I've been in the lockdown experience. I've been working in this black mental health group, supporting other black guys and doing plays. So we've got another play, shout out on the 28th, Kwame in the Lockdown. I am Kwame.
Kwame.
Yeah, buddy. But you know, I'm quite colourful when I speak, yeah? I use colourful words now and then. Those are hand expressions. So I had one of the guys in the group talk to me over the weekend, and he was just like, oh, I've got an idea for a play. You'd be good in a play. And I'm like, oh, this is really good. Like, I'll be up for this. And he was like, oh, I just wanted to just let you know something. you sound really different. And I was like, hey, sound different, like how? Oh, you use words like lovely and beautiful and colourful. And I'm like, yeah, that's just how I speak sometimes, you know? I like those type of words. They're cool words. And he was just like, oh, yeah, you're just kind of different to the others. And I'm like, to what others? You know, what others? I'm from urban London. I just like reading books and I like trying to educate myself. And this is a black guy saying this to me.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of going, how do I take that? Same as the woman that I mentioned in the shop. How do I take that? Do I take that as a racist thing? Does it take as I don't really understand how to take it. Do I compliment him and say, "Oh yeah, I've been one of the lucky ones," you know? I've got
It's
a
not
good
lucky
education.
ones. But what are we basing this standard against? Because he's obviously got a preconception of the way that everybody should speak, depending on geographically where they come from. But it's kind of like, how is everything determined? I think when we watch television programs,
Yep.
yeah, they program you to believe in a certain narrative.
Oh, stereotypes.
I think, yeah, stereotypes, and that's all we ever watch. Now, you've got the papers flip-flopping backwards and forwards about why is Britain like this? All of the major corporations coming out saying we stand with Black Lives Matter
Every day,
and
man.
et cetera, et cetera. I tell you what,
So bullshit.
fuck you.
Yeah,
Because you weren't here last week, you're here this week, and come next week when we're on to something else, you'll be gone again.
Of course.
So, listen, if you want to keep selling your product, you're going to stand with Black Lives Matter. I get that. Everybody can see that. Don't worry. NFL wanted to blackball Colin Kaepernick, and there we go again. Terminology, blackball. Why is it not a white ball? Yeah? Why is the white ball the last ball remaining on the table when you pot the black ball? It's the way that we view everything is the way that everybody is kind of like has an expectation of everybody when they speak to them.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes from that guy. And
I just got a
it's
message. My mum's watching. So.
Okay. Hi.
Shout out to my mum.
Shout out to my
Yeah,
mum,
buddy.
man.
Sorry to interject.
No. So I'm saying, so you're saying you didn't know how to take it, and should you check them,
Yeah,
right?
for
But
me-
listen, I don't. For instance, if you a good bouncer
Yeah.
to me, so if it kicks off somewhere, right? A good bouncer doesn't jump in and start flailing punches, right?
Yeah.
They jump in, they calm the situation.
Of course, you neutralize.
They neutralize it. So I want to be that guy, the passive guy that neutralizes stuff. So if I see somebody kicking off in front of me, if I can neutralize them and explain to them and try and educate them about the way that we've all been brought up,
Yeah.
and we've all got preconceptions, I do, about people and how we can break those constraints and try and like learn our own way in life, and he has the time to listen to me, then he might say, do you know what? You're right, and reevaluate his view on black people based on one experience that he's had with one black person.
Well, see, I was going to try that with the lady in the shop, but then I just didn't really, you know what, I felt to the point where it was information exhaustion. But at that time, I was just kind of going, I've had to explain myself to a number of my friends already about, I'm not racist towards you, you're not racist towards me. We are friends from way back. So there is nothing that's going to change the friendship we have. And then to then have to explain it to this woman, I just didn't really have the energy to do it. Then I had the phone call with the dude, and I was just like, I want to check you because you're probably, 44, 45, you know, my generation. But then I'm like, for you to even come out with a narrative like that, it just shows me where
But if you have
you're kind of sitting in society. You know, for me to use certain words and aspire to be better than I am doesn't mean that I'm losing my roots. You're not black enough. Because for me, what is black? What is it? Because I'm going to wear my pants low and struggle to pronounce certain words and say gangster and all this shit. For me, that's not black. You know, for me, black is West Indian culture, African culture. It's good food. It's
listen,
it's all the beautiful things, you know?
to a black,
Smashing out these sweets, boy.
yeah,
I'm
to
gonna
a
go over.
black person, yeah,
Yeah.
being black, you don't choose to be black.
I'm born black, man.
You're black, so that's it. That's the be all and end all, okay? But to people outside of that, they're like with just their perception of you is what they're taught and what they see. One of my friends sent me a video today. Bashi's in it. If anybody remembers Bashi,
Yeah, I saw the. It's a film, isn't it?
it's
part
a
of
short film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what it's attributed to. I don't know where it came from, but it's so impactful that essentially I think we'll post it on the channel
Yep.
because I think it needs to be seen. But
We're seeing the rounds, isn't it?
yeah, it's doing the rounds if you haven't seen it. But essentially, Bashi's in a supermarket shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Some white supremacists are on the other till, one along. The little boy looks over at Bashi, black man, who's putting a toy into a shopping bag. The white child sees the toy, smiles. Bashi starts to play with the toy, like Superman, flying him around a little bit. The boy smiles. The white supremacist dad says, "Have we got a fucking problem here?"
Yeah.
Follow him out into the car park, beat him up. Okay? Week later, 2 weeks later, said white supremacist is hijacked,
Yep.
thrown in the back of a van, has his complete body tattooed, right? And that's all I'm going to say. We'll post it. I don't want to ruin it for anybody and give away the shock, but there's so many poignant videos going around now that the one good thing off the back of this, as hard-hitting as they are and uneasy as they may be to watch, the conversations and the collective consciousness is broadening across the spectrum, that people are now having to confront their own fear. And one of those fears is walking down an aisle, I take you back there, in Tesco's, when a black man is walking in the other direction. Or an Asian man, or whatever, something different to yourself that makes you feel a certain way when that person's coming towards you. So we're now having those conversations, which is which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But that's not to take away from the fact that I still think it's shady as fuck. And
No, I think those conversations are good because I stumbled on my journeys on the Instagram late at night. I came across Karen and Kevin. Karen and Karens are what they call white women. I'm going to put this out there. White women who have some really outlandish views about black people. So it's black.
so Karen was coined after the lady in Central Park, right?
Yeah, but if you go, I have to send.
There's plenty of them.
Yeah, but it's amazing. I saw one where this guy was he was doing graffiti on his sidewall outside his house. So he's spraying Black Lives Matter, or a Filipino guy spraying it on the ground. And this woman stops. She's with her partner or with a friend or whatever. She stops and she goes over, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Well, I'm doing a bit of artwork on the ground." And she goes, "Oh, why are you doing that?" And he goes, "Well, it's a powerful movement. I want to support the movement." And then she goes, "I know the people that live there. Why are you doing that?" And he's like, "Okay, you know the people that live there. Okay, cool. Okay, if you've got an issue, call the police." She goes, "Oh, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to call the police." So then she kind of walks away, and then she walks back, and then she walks away. And then he turns the camera and he says, "I live here. This is my house." And you're kind of going, whoa. So since then, I think on the news feed, she then lost a number of marketing promotional opportunities, and her company has now been looked in a different way. She's had to release apologies saying, "I'm not racist," and stuff like that. And loads of people are doing that, which for me it's good that we're having that now, because now people are kind of, the views that they have, they're saying it out loud, which is great. And it's being recorded, and it's allowing their friends to sit down and say, "Hey, Cindy, I can't work with you anymore. You know, that type of shit doesn't fly. You know, I may not have a boyfriend who's black or a girlfriend that's black, but I have friends that are, and your views, they're wrong, you know, and we can't fly with that." And I like it. I like that. Maybe that's a good thing that's coming from this. Obviously, there's a number of things that I'm not really too cool with.
You know, something else that's come from it
Shoot.
is I was watching a talk by Akala the other day.
He's serious, man.
And he said he was, I can't remember the question, but he got asked the question. Okay, now he's someone that I look up to, with the music and stuff that I've done back in the day. Been in the same circles. I don't know the guy, I don't tend to, but I vibe with him a lot. And he got asked a real serious question.
Yeah.
He highlighted it, and he said, "I can't answer it because I don't know enough."
Okay, nice.
And that was it.
But that's good though.
Yeah,
I'd rather
and
you say that than you kind of give me a narrative that makes no sense.
The reason I say that
people
is because I've fallen out with a couple of people purely on the fact, it might have been miscommunication, it might be me misunderstanding, it might be me and my emotions within myself and everything else, the frustration and stuff of not being able to explain yourself in 100 and how many ever characters on Twitter, or understanding if someone's tone of voice when they're saying it to you.
But if you're doing it via messages, that's even worse. At least if you're talking on the phone or I could see you, video call, then I can read you. But if we're typing, because I do it all the time, I used to upset people all the time via text message, and it wasn't me being rude. It was just I'm writing stuff down, and people are kind of taking it left or right.
Yeah.
So I've always learned from that is if I'm gonna discuss something to you important, I have to video call you so you can see that I'm smiling and you're smiling, and then we can, come together on that.
The point of that is because you can't necessarily express what you 100% mean. You can't articulate it what you mean within that short space of time. Don't talk about it then.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah, so don't try and fit something that you're trying to say into 124 characters or into a voice note that you don't want to drag on for any lengthy period of time. It's you have to be precise in what you're saying, and especially in this day and age where cancel culture.
Yeah.
If you say the wrong thing at any time, you're off. So this again, it's all connected. We come all the way back. Censorship.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been an awful lot of bylaws that are being passed this whole time that we have been distracted, okay, by the pandemic and by Black Lives Matter movement that they're undergoing. I said, I was chewing Eugene's ear off earlier.
Poor Eugene. By the way, guys, we've got a cameraman. Eugene is the cameraman. Shout out to Eugene.
I said,
salute.
I can't read The Matrix, but sometimes I feel like I can.
Smashing these sweets out.
Yeah, no, smash the sweets out, man. And have to go gym after this.
Well, gyms are not open until the 4th of July, man.
Garden.
Yeah.
I did a garden workout yesterday, actually.
What did you do? I mean, criticize your workout and just like.
Let's no. Do you know why? Because I had but they're my brother-in-laws, but they're my brothers. So Dell's is 21, Ebeneze's 23. Big up Ebenezer Brown. Follow him on Instagram. He had his first billboard today, Boohoo Man Summer Collection. So go and look out for that. So he actually called, I think, to tell me about it, and I was like, you know what? I need to get back in the gym. Mm-hmm. It was chucking it down with rain yesterday, and I was kind of like, we need to do this session, and I don't care if it's raining.
Is that what you guys were doing with the bands?
Yeah.
I saw, man. I'm watching you, man.
Yeah, so
I'm watching Technique, bro.
Big up Delza, Freelance Uni. Again, Freelance Uni on Instagram. Go and follow my guy, entrepreneur, Coventry University. He's going to be a little genius, so go and check him out. But so I said, look, if I don't go out, where I've fallen off the wagon, where I've been at home, I was committed to this workout.
Yep.
If we don't do it, it's another excuse.
Of course.
So we were working out in the rain yesterday. So essentially what I'm saying is I can eat these sweets and feel cool about it.
All right, man.
Yeah, so
I'm
having the sweets.
Just to let everyone know, he bought the sweets in the first place.
I didn't buy the sweets, mate.
Yeah, he bought the sweets. He bought all the other stuff. Me and Eugene were just like, dude, where are you going with the stuff?
That's because I'm a nice guy. I look after people. I offered Eugene a beer.
You didn't want a beer?
He doesn't drink.
Don't drink. You should have one of those wild nights with me, bro. You have a good time.
But let me tell you something.
Go on.
So, whilst I'm... Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Go on.
Whilst I was obviously mentioned to Carla.
Yeah.
So it's just something that I thought, do you know what? He wrote a book called Natives, okay? Mm-hmm. And I highly recommend you go and read it. If you can't read... Audiobooks, of which, again, I've struggled. But I think where I say everything's connected, I went to a predominantly white school. And I was terrible at school, but no one cared and no one put their arm around me. And I'm not looking for excuses. I'm not making excuses. But if I had someone there at the right time that would just nudge me and say, look, come on, you need to read a few more books and et cetera, I could be streaks ahead of where I am today. But again, I feel like that's what we were talking about earlier with not knowing self and understanding our history and me not necessarily being interested in Nazi Germany. Yeah. Or anything that they want to teach me there, Christopher Columbus and what have you, okay?
Yeah.
If had you taught me my history, I may well have turned up to school every day thinking, do you know what? Mm-hmm. I've got some worth about me. I'm not surrounded by 70% white kids who are learning their history.
Oh, well, at least you can say I'm learning something, you know?
Exactly.
I still allow myself to say I know about this. Because I spoke to my grandmother today, and it was quite, we have those chats, and we talked about the racism stuff on the weekend, and we were cracking jokes about, well, it's like back in the day when she came here. And then she was just like, for a second, when I don't really know my history. And I was like, whoa, okay. So what do you mean by that? She goes, well, that's it. I know the slavery stuff, and then that's about it. And I'm like, how can you not? You're 80, and you don't know your history. For me, that's crazy. I know my history. I know my lineage of my father, my grandparents, and then maybe that's kind of where it stops the journey. But my grandmother doesn't know further down that road, and you kind of go, and it just made me kind of feel a bit sad in terms of they need to start introducing more history on black people.
Yeah, but that again, that's generational
other
though
than
as well.
slavery stuff.
Yeah, because
we
obviously
we invented stuff. We did have other stuff
there was
going on,
yeah, but
rather than just sticks and some
stones.
chants.
But for your grandma, like information age, internet, etc., wasn't around.
Well, no, of course they didn't have that.
So she couldn't even go and do her own research.
And even the books were probably limited, and you couldn't get all the editions that you needed and all the other stuff.
So the reason, I'll go back to Akala because the reason I was saying this, Yvonne Ruddock, do you know who she is?
No.
Right, so it's 2020 now.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in 1981. Okay, so do the math.
81.
Yeah, do the math,
Jeez.
man.
Oh boy, in the
now,
building, boy.
I saw online. So a brief history. You probably heard it before on a previous podcast, but a brief history is that I was born into care and in Hounslow, and my dad, who is my dad, lived in Chelsea. He adopted me, and then we moved to Windsor because of his work. So I am, if you want to coin it, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Okay, so we went to Windsor, which was a stone's throw away from Slough.
Mm-hmm.
Two completely contrasting areas.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm so glad that I found Slough.
Okay.
But anyway, that's on a previous one. We've been there. So I saw a Black Lives Matter march, silent march in Windsor.
Okay.
Right. So I thought, okay,
I'm
black. A lot of people will recognize me from being that black boy.
Yeah.
So I thought I need to go and show my face. So we're walking down the long walk outside Windsor Castle. Loads of I think the girl that organised it was 12, and she was expecting 50 people to turn up. I think about 500 people turned up.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we're all marching down the long walk, right? I'm dressed in black head to toe. Now, just on a side note, I went with two of my brothers and one of my best friends, and we were all we didn't ring each other and say what you're wearing, but we all turned up
in black.
Black
Panther movements.
head to toe. Yeah. And even when we walked across to a Black Lives Matter protest, I could still feel the people that were uncomfortable and looking at who are these four guys that have just turned up? Are they going to cause trouble? I felt the vibe. Yeah. Anyway, so we started walking in the march, and I just burst out into tears.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, I'm 38 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I moved here, right? And I'm so glad that I moved away because when we got to the top of the long walk, I'm thinking, so it's I'm 38 now and nothing's changed. I'm back in Windsor, marching in a protest against the oppression of my people.
Yeah.
Right. And we're in silence because it's silent protest. A van drives past at the top of the long walk. Guy's leaning out the window and he shouts, "White people are better."
Wow.
And I was just like, there you go. Right. But the reason I'm saying that is because 38 years to me is extremely poignant. Right. So I go back to my point of Yvonne Ruddock. Okay. Mm-hmm. New Cross fire. You ever heard of that? The New Cross massacre, 1981.
1987, man. That's when I was born.
Okay, right. So this is
limited.
18th of January, 1981. The reason I say it is because this is the year that I came into the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it was believed to be an arson attack.
Okay.
At Yvonne Ruddock's house, who was celebrating her 16th birthday, 439 New Cross Road. Okay, Southeast London. Now, 13 people died in that fire.
Okay.
Okay, and one of the survivors committed suicide 2 years later. Nobody's ever been charged or brought to justice for it.
Yeah. And
there are a spate of racist arson attacks in the area during that period of time.
Okay.
Okay, but the fire brigade and the police, I don't know if it was official, said that they believed that the fire was started by accident. Coincidentally.
Yeah.
Right, anyway. So the reason I'm saying this is because that was the year that I was born. Right? 20,000 people then marched in March 1981.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the movement, I've written it down here. The movement was where are we? I'll find it here. Black People's Day of Action.
Okay.
Yeah, not too dissimilar to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, of course.
In 1981.
But it's
20,000 people marched
for the same sort of thing.
for the same thing the year that I was born.
Yep.
I'm now 38 and I'm doing exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And people want to ask, why is it happening, etc., etc. So one of the reasons that it's happening is because of the narrative that the media set, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, which is what we alluded to earlier.
Yeah.
So the Sun newspaper at the time, their headline was, right. So this was a majority peaceful protest, right? Hardly anything went down there. There's going to be a few scuffles, but there always are. Okay, predominantly peaceful protest. The Sun's headline the next day was, written it down, "Day the Blacks ran riot."
Wow.
Yeah. Now that was 38 years ago.
Yeah.
This Saturday just gone, I've seen exactly the same thing in the news.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. Yeah. Can I say hundreds of thousands? It wasn't hundreds of thousands. Thousands of Black Lives Matter protesters, went to London. All races, all nationalities. I haven't got a problem with you. You haven't got a problem with me. We're celebrating life, okay?
Of course.
7 days later, or even midweek, a scumbag called Tommy Robinson.
Yep.
I see you, bruv. And a lot of people know where you are. So anyway, has gone online and incited race hate, division, and violence. Okay, now he, for the want of a better term, is a pussyhole, and he hides behind a camera. And he didn't even turn up to London on Saturday.
Of course, he didn't turn up.
Okay, but the reason I'm mentioning him is because he, in my opinion, is being funded by someone.
Yeah, it's by Russia.
Yeah, to say these things and get all of these guys to go down to London anyway. So I started and the reason I say I keep an eye on social media is because I want to gauge what these people are thinking. So more time you say when you watch the video, it's not about the video, it's about the comments. Yeah, so then you look at the comments. He deserved it.
Oh no, of course.
She deserved it.
But the comments are bad though.
Yeah, the comments are bad. But the reason I'm saying that is because they're playing off the narrative that the newspapers are giving them, and it's riling them up, right? So 30, 40, 50,000 people go and have a peaceful protest about Black Lives Matter, okay? I saw a horse. I saw a police rider lose control of his horse and slam into a
at the pole.
The traffic light.
Yeah, the woman.
Right? I also saw an article the following day saying that she was violently abused.
Yes,
right?
I did see that. What I heard from me, not from me, but from a number of the stuff I read online in those race hate groups, they were saying that someone threw a brick.
Yeah.
So someone threw a brick at the lady on the horse. The horse got scared and then it bolted. She then hit the traffic light and now has a punctured lung and maybe some broken ribs.
So we can call that a skirmish.
Yeah.
Right? It was a skirmish. Something happened.
But more stuff happens at Carnival.
More stuff happens at Carnival, and stuff is always going to happen when you have thousands of people.
And loads of people, yeah.
Right. So the following week, another group, far right group, if we want to call them that. Yeah.
No, they're racist, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I was kind of going.
I don't want to.
I was eating the sweet, and then I realised I don't know what group you're talking about.
Yeah,
you mean the bald head guys?
Yeah,
with the Nazi
tattoos. They turn up, right? So what I see is
proper racist, man.
But it's the want for self and the needing to better yourself and have an understanding. So because we weren't taught about our history and ourselves in school. But we're fortunate to have families that can teach us that stuff. So we know it. So when we get into an argument with somebody, I can recite facts such as what I just have there, about 1981 New Cross massacre. Now, what I see a lot of these people doing there that were there on Saturday, they have no foundation for any argument. They just don't like black people. So, but the way the newspapers report on it is that these guys went to London to protect statues.
Oh no, they're veterans. They're veterans who've come down to protect the statues.
It's not every paper either.
To support the they're looking after the heritage of British people and British culture, and I'm kind of going, okay, so, but actually, no, before I get there, the reason why you have the veterans having...
Can you remember where you are?
No, I'm going to lose it.
Veterans. I remember veterans.
Okay,
the only reason I say that
veterans.
is because the live has just gone off.
Which live?
Instagram live.
Oh, okay. Well, you got me scared for a second. I thought the live, I was with the petrol man.
No. It's,
like...
So you just, I think you need to come out and then you can go back in.
Oh, has it gone out? Okay, cool.
So you just, I think you just need to press go live
Did
again.
we have loads of people viewing?
Not loads.
How many? Is it like...
I think it went up to 10.
Oh, that's not bad. 10's alright.
Yeah, it's fine. But because we're recording it as well, it's absolutely fine.
10's alright.
But just, edit
People
this
probably
bit out.
switched off, like, there was probably like 100 and they started switching off at the end. As soon as you started talking about racism stuff, they got scared.
Nah, they didn't get scared, man.
Oh, that Johnny guy's a bit crazy, man.
Yeah.
That chap's cool, but that
Listen,
Johnny guy's a bit strange.
Go on. No, I'm saying, I think
Messy,
there hasn't been anything too bad said, so
No,
we don't need to edit it. So you just listen to this little interlude here, intermission, for 5 minutes. Go and get yourself a nice glass of water or something. And then, go live. Yeah, we're back. There we go.
We're back on again.
We're back on again.
They tried to cut us off.
They tried to cut us off.
We saw that Black Lives Matter support, and then they just decided, look, we've got to shut it down.
We're back in. Big up Pam Morgan. I see you. Yeah, we're back in. There you go.
We've turned into like an MC.
Huh?
You know what's funny? Listening to you MC.
Oh, was it funny? Was it?
No, it was good, man.
Okay.
I liked it. I sat there and I was waiting for you to... You had the glove and everything. I was like, wow, Michael Jackson.
Do you know how much I got ripped for that glove?
I don't know where you was going with the glove.
For those of you that don't know, I did... I dabble in a bit of music, MC and rapping, what have you.
Gangster.
From a group. No, not... See, there you go.
I'm messing, man. You were wearing a
Don't know
black
because
glove.
people are listening.
He had a black leather glove. I'm kind of on one hand, not even two hands.
Listen, it
I
was
was
quite
kinda,
cold.
where's
It
this
was
brother
quite
going?
cold when I went there. Right?
Yeah, one glove though.
And I had 2 gloves. But then when I was about to go on stage, I was like, I'm putting my fucking glove on.
But you only had one glove.
No, one glove, man. Come on, the Olympic Games.
Wow.
Yeah.
I looked at that and I was kind of going, brothers, just living, man. One glove.
No. I didn't
really
listen.
In the zone.
Lost one, and I thought, you know what? I paid for these, so I'm wearing one anyway. But yeah, so I was doing Love Music, Hate Violence for my guy Steve Voss, which is a DJ. So it's a movement that he's got, Love Music, Hate Violence, and he works with a sound system called Sting, which is one of the biggest Asian sound systems in the country, and they wanted to put on a showcase.
Okay.
But where their holding facility is for all of the equipment that they have, that's all it is, a holding facility. Yeah. But with the amount of people that have been DJing on Twitch and doing live streams and what have you, they just had the idea, do you know what? Let's get all of the guys that we know to do a live performance, one after the other. And they asked if I'd headline it. So there was an MC, a drum and bass MC called Rhymestar. Okay. So if you're into drum and bass, you'll know who Rhymestar is because he's quite big in the game. And I'm quite privileged to know him. If he didn't turn up, I would have been screwed because I can't pattern
it was good,
drum
man.
and bass.
It reminded me of, I was going to say So Solid Crew, no disrespect, but it had that vibe, you know? It's like Ashley's next, Harvey's next, and it was quite nice, man.
Yeah, Gideon, the young guy that was there, he's only 20 years old. And I think he does a bit of spoken word and he's an actor. Okay. But so when we were talking just before we were about to go on, because we had rehearsals the day before, but when we were going to go on, I'm going to put the link to this on my page at some point in the coming week. It got taken down from YouTube because of copyright, obviously, but the live stream is what it is. But Gideon, assuming on Instagram, we said to him, "Oh, where have you done this before? Where have you performed before?" And he's like, "It's my first time."
Nice, man.
So the way that all came to, so I'm a veteran.
Yeah.
The glove. Yeah, Rhymestar's a veteran.
Rocked over a glove. Of course you're there.
And it was Gideon's first time.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like it just came together and it worked. I did a little speech on there. I think for my set alone, I think we had around 500 people that were tuned in. We had people in Dubai, Australia. So it's good. It's good to get the message out there. But again, love music, hate violence. Essentially, that's what it is. So where I say everything's connected, again, it brings you back to music. Nigger this, nigger that, black bitch. All of these stereotypes that they have in the videos, we're not helping ourselves. And listen,
Of course we're not
I
helping
watch
ourselves.
the videos. I listen to the music.
I can't listen to that stuff no more.
No, it's
I find it hard to I just find it's silly. You know, there's people who fought for years upon years to not be called a nigger. And then you've got now modern day people going, oh yeah, nigger, what's up? And then you get offended if someone who's not black then says it. I find that so hilarious.
yeah. So all of that needs to change.
I'm not upset because you said it, but I've said it to him multiple times while you've been here. You're one of my boys anyway. But you've now said it to me. I'm now offended. For me, it makes no sense. That's the problem. If it had some sort of sense, it had some sort of structure, and there's an understanding behind it, then I'm with it. But it makes no sense.
It makes no sense, and these are the things that need to change. So
no one's nigger.
Again, it's an American terminology, and I've seen a number of African Americans or Americans say that they want to take ownership of the word. Okay,
Do what with it?
Own it. That's it, and just use it for themselves for whatever reason to make themselves feel better. I can't speak. I'm not African American, so you know.
But there's people in this country that use that.
There's people in this country that use it, but again, are we not the 51st state? And everything gets fed into us. So this is what I'm saying about conditioning and the way that you're brought up and the programming of it all. Is that somebody said? I'll tell you what. I was on a work call the other day.
I had the vet piece and everything, and he's just.
Oh no, we'll get back to the veteran bit in a minute.
I had it, you know, it's in my head, and I was kind of going, okay.
I've not lost my point.
I've got the vet stuff. I'm solid on this, and then he was just like, yeah, don't worry, hold it, man. We'll get there. Now I'm listening to some other stuff. I'm like, 10 minutes gonna pass.
It's all the
minutes.
same stuff.
I'm kind of going, dude, man. You're
it's
just
all connected.
taking all the limelight.
This is the last,
and then you just run with the stories, man.
This is the last one.
No, I'm messing. Whenever you're ready, we get there.
One of my work colleagues said to me the other day, motherfucker.
Okay.
And I said, whoa. And he said, what? I said, why are you calling me a motherfucker?
Okay.
And he said, because you are. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, I'm not. I said, you know what a motherfucker is? And he said, it's a derogatory term. And I'm bantering you. And I said, no, I'm fully aware of that, and we're cool with each other. But I just said to him, these are the things that you guys, and when I say you guys, white people or racist people need to understand is that certain terminologies that we use are derived from a specific point. So slave masters used to make children sleep with their parents as a form of control and humiliation. So that's where we coined the term motherfucker, right? Essentially, which is where it comes from. So one person that uses that like a ridiculous amount of times is Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah,
Sammy like he perpetuate. He's kind of saying constant every other word, motherfucker, motherfucker, motherfucker. And I'm kind of like, how the hell can you continually use that phrase, being a well-educated and respected person in the public eye, knowing where it comes from? It's ridiculous. So my work colleague said, now I know.
Yeah, I'm not going to use it.
I'm not going to use it.
Well, I think it'd be interesting to actually do a study into words and where the words come from, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that's where it came from. Because I've heard Italians in Italian movies use that, you know, and I didn't really understand where it came from. But I think that's with a number of words. You can probably get a whole list of words and then find out the origins for that word comes from this or something like that. You know what I found maybe a couple of years back, 4 or 5 years, I don't wear my pants down or anything like that. Never done. I find it really stupid. But it came originally from slavery days. So the guys that used to have the pants down low were the guys that were getting the special treatment, and then that followed through into the prisons as well. So the guy used to wear the pants down were the guys that would get it in Jaxie, and I didn't really know that at the time. You know, I didn't know that, and now I do know that, and I see guys walking around like that. I'm kind of going, if you knew where that originated from, would you then wear your pants like that?
No. So that
I'd hope you did.
Your point earlier about Black Lives Matter, because I'm aware that you've done some research on it in the last week or so.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit. I was quite shocked.
One of the main things that I see happening in America, and the reason that I believe I can speak on it, is because I do think we're the 51st state. So anything that happens in America essentially finds its way over, whether it's a month, a year, 5 years, what have you, it ends up being the norm here. okay, trends and everything else cotton on. We've actually got to a point now where our music is actually amazing, and it's starting to go back the other way. And America is starting to cotton on to terminology.
You mean, okay, yeah. So I got brain freeze for a second.
No, the stuff that we use. But what I'm saying about this whole Black Lives Matter movement is the let me get the word right. So is it the demasculinization? How do you say it?
Demasculin. You said it already.
Demasculinization of the black man.
Yeah.
In America.
But you need to explain where you come to that conclusion, because
you were talking about wearing your pants low.
Yeah, I'm sure people are listening. They kind of go, "Oh man, Johnny, what you doing?" But if you explain,
because
why you come with that.
The reason that I come, the way that I come with that is because each generation has their. I'm going to use music as the analogy of it all. Is that each generation? So when my dad was listening to, even though Tina Turner's great. But when my dad was listening to Tina Turner taking me to football, I was like, oh, do we have to listen to this? I can't stand the rain. It's my wind. I can't stand the tune, Dad. Turn it off.
It's good music, son.
Yeah, no, it is
We're
now.
going to the football.
It is now, but you know what I mean? I'm depressed.
Gets me ready.
So when I was growing up, it was Nas, etc., etc. To me, these are men, right?
Okay.
These are real men, okay? They sell a lot of records, and you have a demographic of guys that wear Timberlands, the oversized jeans, the oversized shirts, which I'm still wearing today, and all of that sort of stuff. But that we've come a far way away from that now, where a lot of the mainstream guys that put the music out and proclaim to be hip hop and proclaim to be rappers and what have you, are really coming in a strange way that. It's not. Listen, you can have your hair coloured any way that you want, but if I'm speaking to a guy and I say to you, "Why is your hair green, purple, and red, and what have you?" and he says, "Because I like it," I say, "Cool." But I know that the guys that are in the mainstream that have their hair that colour and are putting out these messages about people being a little bit different, and there's nothing wrong with being a certain way, which there isn't. So what I don't understand is why you have to force that down people's throats and try and steer them. Into that lane. No,
I get your neck.
Because
I agree.
I feel that's what they're doing.
Now, the rappers these days, they've gone way away from.
I've seen rappers wearing high heels. But my point being is that, like, with the LGBTQ community, okay, I feel like in some cases they force it on people. They're forcing it on people, and I'm kind of like, well, my sister for one is gay. And when she came out to me, I said, yeah, I know.
It's cool.
It's cool. I already knew.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's absolutely fine.
Take a high five, John, and get me a drink.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care what you are.
It's cool.
So it's race, sexual orientation. It's all the same thing. It's prejudice, and it's people's understanding and the fact that they're not educated on the fact. Yeah. So if you want to be gay, bisexual, whatever it might be, fine by me. Couldn't care less. That's your business. But don't force it on people. So I feel like they're trapping a lot of children that are watching the programs, again, which I'm saying about programming, and trying to teach them and show them a way that isn't being heterosexual. But there isn't anything wrong with being the alternative, but let the child find it on their own.
Yeah, should be the case. They should be able to find it.
Which is my point. But the reason I've brought that up, it sounds like I've gone off topic, but I haven't. Is because
I kind of going, dude.
I feel like that's what they're actually doing, or have been trying to do to the black man for a long time in America.
Yeah.
For the want of not wanting him. Now, you've been looking into Black Lives Matter movement.
I did. I was shocked.
And it's run by three lesbian ladies, right?
3 lesbian ladies.
So I'll let you talk.
Well, it's run by 3 lesbian ladies, and also in the about section, there's nothing There's no mention of supporting black guys, black boys, black men, black families headed by a black man. It was all lesbian, gay, trans, and support of that rather than the inclusion of all. And I just found that to be quite strange. Then I did a bit more digging to find out where the donations go. And then you find that the donations are actually going to campaigns, political campaigns. So Biden, Sanders and stuff like that. And you're kind of going, if people really knew that's where your donation was going, would you donate? Probably not.
When you watch the trends for political campaigns in America,
it's gone through the roof at the moment.
Yeah,
Did
but
you see the stuff with Biden where he was wearing the tribal gear?
Yeah,
And I
when
was
was the
going,
last time?
Come on.
That Black Lives Matter spiked on a trend? Could you know?
I'm trying to think. Help me out while I'm thinking. Well, give me a clue.
Election.
Well, it's always at the election time.
So
We are coming up to an election.
yeah, but
now.
when was the last time it spiked?
Was that it was the Donald Trump
2016.
election. Yeah, it was the Donald Trump because he was
2016.
using the race card to get himself across the line.
Deadly silent for 4 years,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden, just before an election again,
It picks up.
George Floyd gets killed. When I was watching it, okay, no one sent it to me. I found it myself, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?"
Mhm.
Again, conditioned. Is it another video of another black man getting killed?
That's what I said.
Am
When
I
got-
gonna watch it?
Yeah, when I got the video, I was like, "Oh man, I've seen like 3 of these already. Like, what's different with this one?"
What's different about this one? All right, so I've watched it, right, and instantly I saw what was different about this one. What was different about this one is the fact that the guy that was kneeling on his neck, is it Derek Chauvin?
Derek
Chauvin.
I think it's Derek.
The guy that was leaning on his neck knew he was kneeling on his neck
Mhm.
in such a manner that he'd been told to kneel on his neck.
Mhm.
And then when the members of the public were shouting at him, "Take your knee off, he can't breathe,"
Mhm.
the officer looked at them as if to say, "I know he can't breathe.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be doing this," right? So I'm thinking, this is premeditated,
Mhm.
right? Now, we don't know the facts and everything else when it's happening at the time. You're just watching it live.
Of course.
But instantly, I thought to myself, this is wrong. Something's wrong here. This isn't. How can you normalize a killing of an unarmed black man anyway? So, but I'm thinking to myself, this isn't a normal killing. So this isn't a normal racist police killing.
No, it seemed like
Yeah.
it was very
This
much.
is
they were all
premeditated.
involved in terms
Yeah.
of to have a cop to stand there and say, "It's fine, I'm over here." It just seemed all
Right.
as if, as you said, like this is what we have to do. We have to sacrifice someone, and this
Yeah.
is what we got
So
to do.
this
Because
is,
it did seem very much anyone standing by would have said, "I have to go over. I have to stop this."
Yeah. So what we were saying about everything being connected
Uh-huh.
is, again, it's like, please don't switch off from the fact that you may just be about to hear a conspiracy theory, because I'm open to everything, all views and opinions. And
I
if
think
I'm
people just logging off the live feed.
yeah, if I'm told something tomorrow, it might change my view of the world that I have today, right? So I'm always learning. I'm open to everything. If you can tell me something that I don't know, I want to hear it. Yeah. But the minute that I heard, and then I went back to see if it was true myself, is that Derek Chauvin kneeled on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Insignificant. Until you hear the fact that the first plane hit the World Trade Tower Center, right,
Mhm.
at 8:46 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
Okay, so to me, Derek Chauvin looking left and right and concentrating on the length of time that he had his knee on his neck,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't add up to me. So I then started to think to myself, is this a premeditated plan to cause racial division in America prior to the election in order for Biden to win votes from Trump,
Yeah.
get Trump out of office? Trump, they tried to get him indicted already. Okay, didn't work. There was no collusion with Russia,
Mm-hmm.
but Hillary Clinton is still saying in public, "Oh, they say they didn't find any, but I bet there was." She's actually on record saying that.
Okay.
Right, so her followers will listen to that, and people will listen to that, right? So don't get it twisted. I'm not a Trump supporter, and I'm not a Biden supporter, but we have to keep a mindful eye on it because they're one of the world's leading superpowers, and it is our business because anything that happens there is going to affect.
Oh, it's going to have an effect.
It's going to have an effect
Of course it
everywhere.
will.
Okay, so that's the reason that we need to pay attention. But the fact that they're now trying to claim us, like you just said there, with Nancy Pelosi and Biden and the rest of their team
But didn't
wearing,
even Joe Biden say that? He said,
if you don't vote for him, you're not black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the black vote,
Who
man.
are you to tell me that? And Charlemagne just sat there and took it.
Did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I
Charlemagne,
heard it
yeah.
said something. Actually, no, it was on TV
Mhm.
because I heard him say it, and then he kind of froze for a second and went, "Oh shit, I've said something now."
Yeah.
And Charlemagne just kind of went
Yeah.
Okay. And you're kind of going, dude, you should have said something.
Right.
But then you have two options. You've got Biden or you've got Trump.
Okay.
Which one would you go for?
Based on what I believe in, okay, but again, I'm just call me Alice because I'm down there. I'm looking up, and
Are you down the hole again?
I live in the hole.
Oh man, I came out here for some.
I
sweets.
live
Now you
in
red
the
and blue
hole.
again,
I
man.
live in the hole.
I got one more.
However, there's a difference between going down the rabbit hole and understanding what the rabbit hole is. I understand that I've got a mortgage to pay. I understand that I've got children to feed, and I understand that I've got a wife that I need to take care of. Okay, so first, that's my main priority. The only reason that I venture into the rabbit hole is it's the same reason that I have a look at social media, is so that I'm aware of what's happening around me. So I'm all encompassing. I know the vibe. I'd rather know that I'm getting mugged off.
Oh, then not no.
Than just getting mugged off.
Of course.
Okay, I'm acutely aware that there isn't anything I can do about it.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
But that's why I don't entertain that too much.
Unless
when I go down there, I can't control it. I can't do anything. I'm very much of a control freak. And if I can't control the situation, I don't want to entertain my brain like that because it would excite me. I'd sit down and go, oh my gosh, call my friends.
Yeah.
We should organize something. And then you realize no one wants to organize anything. You're probably going to be on your own. And you're not going to get any progress from it, you know.
So I can detach from it, but while we're in the moment, which we still are, which you're reminded of every day when you watch the news or whatever, you speak to family, you speak to friends, because everybody's got their own experience of it. But so what we're saying is about the Black Lives Matter movement here, and the way that it's connected to George Floyd, is when you do go into the rabbit hole and you see who Black Lives Matter is funded by.
Oh yeah. More questions.
More questions.
Yeah, more questions.
I don't want questions. I want answers.
Yeah, but all of it's more questions. We started this podcast with questions. We carry on this podcast with... It's just constant questions with no answers. And then, as you said, you're looking down the rabbit hole. I'm joining you to a degree. My head is poking in. But it's all it is just more questions, you know?
It's more questions.
And I think what I'm hoping that we can get from the pods that we do, especially stuff like this, is it allows people to then ask questions.
Yeah.
Because
this is a collective consciousness. That's what I'm saying.
I know Leon. They're not or Johnny.
Johnny Leon.
Sorry.
John Leon.
Apologies, man.
John Leon.
But in my phone, you're saved as Leon.
Jean Leon. There you go. There's a new one.
I might save as Jean Leon.
Jean Leon.
Hey. So yeah. So you're saved in my phone.
Big H. Okay,
calm down, bro. Glove and everything. But yeah, no. For me, I'm hoping that those conversations that other people can have with their friends and do their own research and then come to the conclusions that we have somehow journeyed to. If not, then you'll be living in a bubble.
It's
bubble.
Yeah. I think what I'll say on the podcast is it's not for the want of wanting to talk about racial division and everything, but this is kind of very much a current affairs
of course it is.
conversation.
I
so we're
like this at the moment.
We're in the moment
because even the guys I train, so I train some nice people, some nice white people, and even some of the conversations I've had with them about stuff, you've kind of gone, okay, you have no black friends, and I'm now feeling this guy. And some of the questions it's borderline questionable topics, which you're just kind of tiptoeing around rather than going through the centre and certain stuff. And for me, it's apparent, especially because of the stuff that's happening in London. I feel like I'm having conversations about race all the time. Mm-hmm. Growing up, I never had any conversations about race.
Would you? I think
other than one time in Brighton, and that guy was a Wally.
Wally.
No, he was. Sorry, I used words like that, but he was a Wally. I called him on the phone. Hey, how you doing, man? We're looking for a place to move in with my best bud, and he's like, yeah, we've got this place just around the corner from the pier. The rent is X. Come down, look at it. We journey there. We get there. He then goes, hi, how you guys doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm Mike. How you doing? You're right. It's my friend, whatever. And he goes, so you've come to see the property, haven't you? And I said, yeah. And he goes, it's just gone. And I was like, but we spoke to you like 5 minutes ago. When did the property go? He goes, oh, yeah, it's gone. It's just how it is. You know, the cookie crumbles like that. So I was like, okay. Took it on the chin. I know everyone's looking, you know, fresh is finished. We need to get accommodation. No sweat. Jump on the 49 heading back to the centre. I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this guy a call. So I called and put an accent on. I say, hello, you know, I'm looking for accommodation, whatever. And he goes, yeah, the property's available. When do you want to come down to view it? And I was just like, wow. But that was it. That is it. Other than that, I've not had any serious issues with race. I haven't.
Therefore, it doesn't exist.
No, not saying
No,
it
no.
doesn't exist.
I'm
I've got friends.
being that guy.
Oh, okay. No. Of course it exists, but I've not had that. Or maybe it happens to me all the time. Being a big black guy, in most of the time training attire and walking around the street, probably people go, "Oh my god, that got scary." But most of the time, I've got my headphones on. I'm so distracted by whatever I'm doing.
Right.
I just don't care about you feeling that you might be scared because you might think I'm going to steal your handbag. My phone costs more than your handbag.
We had a question on the page.
Shoot.
Let me go and see if I can see this.
How many people are viewing?
Not many, don't worry. But they'll
Oh my
watch
god, we
it.
got like 3 people viewing.
They'll watch it on the
It's my mum watching.
They'll watch it on the playback.
No, Mercy.
It's
I'm only Mercy.
where are we? So if I go to this one and I go here.
9.
Right, so the question is,
Shoot.
this is someone's put this on the page.
We have live questions. Amazing. I feel like we've made it.
Question to the pod: where do we go from here? What can white people do to help progress? Okay, now that question there, in my lifetime. So the reason I brought that up is because you're talking about race,
Shoot.
okay, and racist instance you've had.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. So Yasmin Evans is a Radio 1 DJ. She posted on her Twitter feed, I think last week, the week before, "Black men, how do you feel?"
Okay.
I replied, and then she used my response and she posted it on her socials.
Nice.
Not just myself, with other people,
Yeah.
but I was one of the people that she chose
Got
to
selected.
repost. Now my post was: ashamed, scared, ignored, misunderstood, misrepresented, angry, concerned, worried, nervous, educated, uplifted, engaged, ready, hardened, vengeful, alert, available when called upon to rise up.
Cool.
Yeah, that was my response. Now, the reason I said that is because the amount of times, and this goes hand in hand with the question, what can white people do to better understand? What can we do to help? Educate yourselves.
Yeah.
And kind of have some sort of understanding as to what other people, gay, black, Asian, whatever it might be, any trouble that they might have had to go through in their lives. Now, if you're living in a predominantly black area and you're a white guy, then you're going to encounter some issues yourself, maybe. So it's flips. I'm not just saying it. Yeah, it's
last one.
whatever your demographic is, just where you are, it's where you live. Now, I myself am a nigger, a wog, a nignog, a packy, yeah, a black cunt. These are all the things that I've ever been called in my life. Okay, playing football, walking down the road, and a car zoomed down the road when I was walking home from football training. Flipped it round to face me, so the headlights were on me. 4 guys jumped out, and I thought I'm just about to get an absolute
Rush, yeah.
kick in here. One of them recognised me and said, "Oh, it's Brownie. You're all right." And I said, "So if it wasn't,
Oh, you're getting beat up, mate.
I was getting beaten up." So that saved me because I knew who this white guy was. But in the circles that we knew each other from, he couldn't lay a finger on me. Okay. But if I was unfortunate enough, God knows where they went that night.
Someone got beat up
afterwards. Yeah. But someone got beaten up, right? So what I'd say to, I'm guessing that the person that asked is a white person. So what can you do to educate yourselves is that when you're having conversations with people, whether it be in a private WhatsApp group or in the kitchen at work or anywhere it might be, if you hear someone saying something derogatory, racist, bigoted, or whatever it is, you tell them to stop it. You
shut it down, don't you?
You don't allow it to happen.
Yeah, you shut it
down. So I'm now holding everybody accountable. So this is what I'm saying is, okay, so there are so many times that people don't understand that myself, Michael, Eugene, whoever it might be, have been in a situation where something's been said and we haven't felt strong enough to be able to say something because we're respectable of the situation that we're in and we don't want to disrupt that situation. We don't want to ruin the night. We don't want to ruin the game that's being played. We don't want something negative to happen. So we take it on the chin like a good little boy and we don't do anything. I'm sick and tired of that now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying to the white people that are asking what they can do to help and make things better is educate yourself and know that when things are said around you, that you can't let them slide either.
Oh no, you shut it down.
Yeah, otherwise you're just falling into that that whole
agree.
narrative.
I
Okay,
think it's the education front, the studying of books online. We've got online sources, man.
There's online sources, but it's not too.
But then you've also got one of the best sources. If you have black friends,
friends,
stuff, just say, hey, what's your thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on that? And have an open mind so that you get away from the narrative of, oh, slavery was 400 years. Get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me, why do I,
and
the stories of the stuff that's happened to those slaves has been told from our parents or grandparents to us, and it's made us kind of have a certain look on life, There's
two major things that you can do. One of them is don't say but. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you listen to someone, don't say yeah, but nothing. And you haven't experienced it. Yeah. Okay? So there is no but. And the fact that you haven't experienced it, I don't find that you qualified to be able to talk on it. Unless you're fully educated and you have done the research.
Of course.
So again, like I was saying about fitting everything into 124 characters or whatever it might be, if you don't understand the topic, you've not lived through the subject, don't address it.
Yeah, don't address it.
And if you want to address it, what you've just said, ask your friend, ask your colleague, or read a book.
I think you can do that with all races, not just white and black. You can do it with Asians. Yeah. I can say Asians, yes.
Well, again.
The way he looked at me was just like, what?
No. I had a voice note. The other day, and the voice note went from a white guy. So everyone's on their toes now, okay? So the white guy said to me, I'm walking and with my dog, and an Asian family were walking towards me, and they looked shook of the dog. They were scared of the dog, so they moved across. So he said to his wife, I wonder why they're scared of the dog. He said quite a few of the Asian people I know are scared of dogs. Yeah. His wife said, oh, you can't say that. He said, why? She said, oh, you can't like bracket everybody. And he said no, the majority of the Asian people that I know
these are your people, your
are
friends.
scared of dogs. And she said, no, I don't think you can say that. And he was like, right, which led him to leave me a voice note saying, is this racist? And I said to him, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Because I know a fair few people that are scared of dogs as well.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's scared of dogs. But you know what I mean? You're not bracketing people or putting them into it's not stereotypical or anything like that. It's not derogatory. But that conversation is now happening. So I think what you can do to help and have an understanding of what we're going through at the moment is listen. The biggest thing you can do is listen. And then once you listen, if you understand, you can help. If you don't understand, then I don't think you can help.
But I think by listening, you are helping anyway. And I think we should do that across the board. I feel... How can I put this? It's a bit strong. I feel a bit pity for the white van drivers. All right, mate. You know what? Get over it. I feel a bit pity for those guys because they need education. It's more than just I'm black, you're white. It's just you're probably at the bottom half of society and you're lacking in money and there's issues in your life that's causing you to look out your window and see. I think we've got like 2 minutes left of the pod. But look outside your window and need some sort of fuel to then give you something to say, I should be upset about this. I should be upset about that, rather than facing the facts that maybe you're in your situation because the government's a bit flawed. Maybe you haven't done as well as you could have done in the education circles that you've been operating throughout the schools, to then push yourself on a platform that takes you higher. So for me, it is the education, it is the talking, it's the trying to understand, try and understand. I want to learn more about Asian culture. I would like to learn more about Jewish culture. I'd like to all different cultures, because for me, then I'll be able to have proper conversations with people and not feel like a nonce.
I just, in this last 2 minutes, I'm just going to reference...
Has my phone died there, Eugene? I got a battery to get home. I like that, man.
I'm just going to reference somebody. Again, it's a white guy. Because I'm getting hit up all over the place.
You get messages
from white people.
Man, I didn't
from
get
people.
No love, man.
Listen, from people that I don't necessarily speak to all the time. Yeah, but they're asking me questions, which is the good thing. So they're reaching out. So I was basically saying, no, we were talking about narratives and what have you.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're immigrants and they want us out. Yeah, but we're not. It's not our country. Go back to where you come from.
Yeah, go back.
Okay, so his response was, "It's the narrative that makes me laugh. Britain's terrible history. Brits this and Brits that." He said, "I'm British. Half of my ancestors, by the looks of it, didn't even come from here until the start of the 1900s. They were Dutch and Austrian, but I'm still British. So what makes us so different, right?" And it's kind of like these people are so uneducated that they don't even realise that they're not even native to this land themselves.
Of course they're not.
So where do we come from? And then when you go, you want to take it even harder, and you go to America, and they've completely wiped out an indigenous population of North America.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about the Olmecs in South America, it's a completely different podcast, but we'll get onto that in the next episode of the Yeah Buddy Experience Ancient History.
I think we're going to wrap this up. Today has been a bit more of a somber, is it somber one. It's been a bit more serious than usual. It's a bit more thought-provoking, but I think sometimes you got to have those conversations. I probably wanted to go a bit more to town with some of the stuff I wanted to say, but then I had to be careful because I don't want to get myself in trouble. But no, it's good. As I said, I like discussing this stuff, and I think from having these type of conversations, it helps me understand a bit more. I find you quite an intelligent individual. Not fully, but quite. Just put it there. And
always
it's good.
learning.
Yeah, but it's good to listen to you because I find you are older than myself and you are wiser on certain topics, and it allows me to listen to a different perspective. So on that, I give you a salute.
Salute, thank
Captain.
you, brother. It's as I say, I don't know everything. I know 1% of everything I want to know. The more I learn, the more I know I don't know. So this is just an open conversation, and I'm not telling everybody that what I'm saying is gospel. It's stuff that I've read and stuff that I'm interested in, and I'm just regurgitating it out on the podcast. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.
Cool. And as always, yeah, buddy.